here at Hastings Museum. Got handed a sticker. I guess I just... Dude, bro is huge. Somebody is a fat boy. Uh-oh. Okay, this is my kind of display. My word, it just keeps going. That is huge. Hand to its teeth. That's freaking gorgeous. Add that to my list of need. Bunch of different agate. I'm guessing. Wow. How cool. Really? Look at how cool this is, man. The uranium glass. The scalpel light is freaking awesome. That calcite down there, super cool. Turned off on me, how dare it? Look at the size of that thing. Is that opalized? Petrified wood, Arizona. It kind of looks like it has opal in it. Just got done with the Hasting Museum. That was a ton of fun. I think I came a little late because I don't know, it was a little confusing because they had a sign that said that the planetarium show was going to start at 1, but they would page beforehand and there wasn't anything, so I don't know if that was technically still valid or if it was just an old advertisement that maybe they didn't take down. So unfortunately, I didn't get to be able to experience the planetarium, but overall, I think that's a fun, good, like, I mean, let's see, that took me about maybe like an hour and that to go through the whole thing. So I guess with reading more of the display stuff and that, it would take a little bit longer. As for a quick walkthrough, maybe like, honestly, if you're not like too into learning a whole bunch, you just want to look at the exhibits, probably 15-20 minutes tops. It is 3 floors. As far as the main exhibits, I will say that it definitely goes off of more of American history and Nebraskan history than it does necessarily in the museum sense that you would expect when you go to one. So when you come here, you're going to be finding a lot more of like the first people who settled Nebraska. So it talks about the indigenous history and then the American history of the people that ended up really coming in to live in Nebraska to where we are now. It's also based more on the fact that it's the Kool-Aid Museum because Hastings, Nebraska is where Kool-Aid was actually founded. There is no real science exhibits. There's only the planetarium. There's nothing like that. So you're not going to be able to, which is fine. It's not like it's the end of the world. I plan on going to the SAC Museum, which has more of the space history stuff because that's what I really find myself to enjoy. I also like fossils. There's 3 different floors to this museum. So the very bottom floor is all of the transportation. So it's like all the old automobiles. There's like this really neat fire truck and whatever down there also. And then just like other old vehicles at the beginning of American history. The second floor goes into all like the different mammals and stuff like that. And animals, we'll say, because some of them aren't. But like land animals, and then it has the planetarium. Then there's a nature walk, which is super cool, and then there's, it's cute. It's interactive for kids mainly, but I got a video of the little cave because the cave was fun. And then that has some more taxidermy animals in it for like wetlands and stuff like that. So you'll see like turtles and like reptiles, snakes, birds, kind of strewn throughout that, and then like farm agricultural stuff. And then the next spot over from that is on, it's a whole exhibit on basically racism and not stereotyping people. So it's going through the history of that painful stereotype on people. Then the top floor has minerals, fossils, birds of Nebraska and America and North America. And then it goes into, what was the other thing? The history of Nebraska. So there's a lot going on up there. Fossils, underwhelming, honestly. And I think that's mainly just because we have other museums here in Nebraska that have more fossils, so instead of kind of stealing their thunder, they only did like a little bit of it. I also noticed that I think a lot of them are plaster casts, which isn't the end of the world. It's just like when I go to see fossils, I kind of want to see like legit fossils, you know what I mean? The minerals were awesome. That was a lot of fun. I took a bunch of pictures of all of them so that I can add to my to-buy list. And then I didn't really go through the history of Nebraska one. Today I wasn't interested. It was like interesting to look at, I will say. And then I did go through the Kool-Aid exhibit because you can't come to Hastings, Nebraska without going to the Kool-Aid exhibit. You know what I mean? But other than that, I mean, I think it was pretty interesting to see. I would give it a good, maybe like a 7 out of 10, and that's just because I like sciencey stuff. So there wasn't a whole lot of sciencey stuff, so it did dock some points for me. but the rest was super fun. I did like the displays that they had, the taxidermy. There were some of them that just made me laugh my butt off, and that was funny because some of their faces, man, it had to be back when people didn't really know how to do taxidermy right, because some of these faces, man, I'm gonna put them in the video, kind of shrink throughout, whatever, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. So yeah, I don't really know if there's anything else to do in this town. I've never been here on my own. Last time we were looking for a house, so it's like I didn't really do anything here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna check that out and then probably head home. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Another one, if you're coming up this way, if you end up going through Aurora, Edgerton Explorate Center is actually a lot of fun. That fits more in the sciencey realm, so I love that museum. It's a small one. It's the Plainsman Museum. You can learn about American history, and then you can also go to the Edgerton Explorate Center and you can learn about the history of slow motion photography. It's actually really neat. Has a ton of interactive exhibits, so you actually get to like kind of play with the machinery and see how exactly he like got it to work and whatever. And then as you go through, you have all the walls that have all the different history of it, and then there's a whole little exhibit for him, and then there's a whole bunch of interactive fun stuff for your kids. They also have learning classes for like youth and whatever that you can get into, which is like full on science, chemistry, fun stuff. And then they also have one of the coolest things, I think, is not only can you kind of like rent them out for like parties and stuff like that to do all their exhibits, you can also meet the birds. So they've got some birds that are pretty cool, but they pull them out during some of their demonstrations. So it's like it's pretty cool. So just a side note. So if you're like kind of driving through, go Aurora to Hastings or Hastings to Aurora, whatever it is. I don't know where you're going, but it would be a fun little pit stop, and they're closest to each other. So yeah, anyway, so that's all I have for this museum. So on to the next. And you can also learn about Edgar, sorry, wrong guy, to the Plainsman, about Edgar, who ended up coming up with, I said his name wrong a second time.